Good morning and welcome to my neighborhood. Bit of a strange place for a landscape photography video to start. However, I am getting ready to go to Iceland and I'm on my way to get a pie for breakfast and take care of this thing at the barber, because in just a few days I leave. Local park, the guy's playing cricket early on a Sunday morning. So in this video, what I want to do is I want to show you everything that I've done to prep for the trip. From the gear I'm taking, the clothes I'm wearing, how I'm getting around the place, places I want to visit. So stick around and we'll see how this goes. It is early on a Sunday morning, so not too many people about. But there's the local pub, the cook, decent burger joint. All right, now that I'm beautiful, we'll head on back to the house and get to packing. I've already done a fair bit because I need to make sure that bags aren't overweight. I'm allowed 30 kilos in my check bag and 7 kilos for my carry-on, which isn't a lot when it comes to Panasonic Lumix camera gear. They're all quite heavy. So anyway, we'll get back, take a look at the camera gear, take a look at the rest of the packing, and then we'll do some checking on routes, the RV that we're using, and a couple other last minute thoughts. So here we go. Before we dive into the details though, please hit that subscribe button as well as the bell so that you get notified when I put out all of the vlogs that are going to come from this trip. When it comes to photographing a place like Iceland, planning is crucial. And what I've done to plan is I've scouted locations online and in books. I have looked at best times to shoot, and I'm using various weather apps to help make sure that I get what I want when I'm there. Well, Iceland's got some famous spots that every photographer wants to hit. I've also noticed that just off the ring road, which is going to be our main route, there are lots of locations that look promising. Hidden gems, little intimate spots where I'm hoping to get some of those less than usually captured images. Something unique, something that says, I was there. Speaking of our route, we will be traveling in a couple of RVs. There are 7 of us going, myself and 6 other photographers from New Zealand heading over to Iceland. Our route will be the ring road going around Iceland, as well as hitting a couple of peninsulas to go for some of the less obvious, less touristy places so that we can get some unique images of Iceland in October. Due to the RVs we're renting, one of the places we won't be able to go is up into the highlands. Not only is the time of year not good for it, but the roads, our RVs will not be four-wheel drive, so the roads will not be accessible to us. For cameras for this trip, my workhorse, my stalwart camera that I'll be taking with me is the Panasonic Lumix S1R. Right now I've got the Sigma 24-70 f2.8 mounted to it, but this will be the main camera that I'll be shooting my landscapes with. I'm also taking with me as my main video camera the Lumix S5. It's got a 20-60 on there right now, and that's one of the lenses that I'll be taking with me. But this will be the main camera for shooting video. My vlogging camera, which we're using right now, is the DJI Pocket 2, and I'll be having that with me most of the time. The S5 has a 24 megapixel sensor in it and can serve as a good backup body. Both cameras are L-mount cameras, so I can interchange lenses between the bodies. Lenses for this trip, I plan on taking the Sigma 24-70, as I mentioned. It's an f2.8, so it's fairly fast, and it does a great job at shooting grand vistas, panoramas, as well as getting into some of the intimate details. The bokeh on it's pretty good, and it's a fairly sharp lens, so I'm quite happy with it. Next lens is the Panasonic Lumix S Pro 18mm 1.8 prime. This thing shoots super wide. It's a fast autofocus in it, and this will be used for grand scenes as well as astro and northern lights photography. Finally, I've got the Panasonic Lumix S Pro 70-200 f4. Combined with a 2x extender, this thing will be able to reach out and grab quite a few details in the scene. Some of the places that we're visiting, not easily accessible from the road, but with this guy, going to be able to get this and be able to shoot the scenes out in the distance, reach out, grab them, compress, and see the detail. For my tripod, Benro legs, Benro 3-way geared head. I've been using these for a couple of years now. I'm very happy with them. The carbon fiber, while beefy, is lightweight, and the 3-way head allows me to get the fine adjustments that I need when I'm trying to capture my landscape images and I need just to make micro adjustments. I just have a hard time with a ball head and getting it to adjust in just millimeters at a time. It just seems to jerk around for me. So I really do enjoy using the 3-way head from Benro. For filters, we have the Case Wolverine set. In here, there's 3 ND filters, a 3, a 6, and a 10 stop, as well as a circular polarizer. Those ND filters are going to be perfect for Iceland's waterfalls. To be able to slow the water down for nice long exposure images, to be able to slow down the water, smooth out the water, and capture waterfalls the way I want to. Also in here, circular polarizer. This will be great for cutting glare off of wet rocks, icebergs, that kind of stuff, as well as adding saturation to the greens of leaves, the greens of fields, and the blues of the skies. Finally, as far as camera gear goes, I'm going to be taking my drone. I've got the DJI Mini 4 Pro, as well as the DJI RC2 with the built-in screen. So be able to take these out and capture some of the beauty of the landscape from different angles than what we're normally used to. For all of this gear, I've got plenty of extra batteries. Iceland's cold weather tends to drain them quickly, but I'll be keeping extra batteries well charged and in my pockets to keep them warm. There's a couple for each of these camera bodies. There's a couple more for the drone, and yeah, we're going to be able to keep going through the day, through the night with the number of batteries that I have. When it comes to my images and my video, I will be traveling with quite a few SD cards. I've got, for the most part, 64 gigabyte SanDisk Pro SD cards in here for the 2 cameras. And then I also have mini SD cards in here for the vlogging camera. At the end of each day, from my laptop, I'll be backing up all of my images onto a couple of 1 terabyte Samsung SSDs. So with these solid state drives, I'll be able to make sure that I have all the storage that I need, but also they're just going to do a great job of keeping track of my backups from each day so that I don't lose anything from this trip. For this trip with personal gear, I'm going to need quite a bit of layers. So I'm going to have a thermal underwear layer, and then I'm going to have a wicking layer to help draw moisture away, an insulation layer, and a shell. It's just going to be very important that I stay warm and dry, so I'll be packing what I need for that. Gloves, hats, sock liners, as well as wool socks to fit in waterproof boots. So I've got waterproof hiking boots that I'm going to wear on the plane, and I also have my wellies that come up to my knee for wading into rivers to get those shots from low in front of boulders in the river that I like to do. Now let's talk transportation. For this trip, I'm going to be flying on Emirates from Auckland to Dubai to Copenhagen to Reykjavik. The last leg from Copenhagen to Reykjavik is on Icelandic Air. And then the return flight is Icelandic Air to London, and then Emirates from London to Dubai, Dubai to Auckland. It's 31 hours of travel time there, 38 hours of travel time on the way home. Packing for this trip has not been the easiest. I'm allowed 30 kilograms in my suitcase, and I'm allowed 7 kilograms as a carry-on. I just happen to have the heaviest mirrorless camera on the market. Didn't plan it that way, but that's what I have. In my carry-on, I plan on having these 2 camera bodies, a couple of lenses, and a few other odds and ends, as well as all of the batteries. Batteries have to be in the checked bag, or excuse me, the carry-on bag for Emirates. And the suitcase will be, unfortunately, the 70 to 200, as well as drone, filter, and all of this other miscellaneous gear over here. It's just the way it has to be. Unfortunately, I don't have any options. To purchase a second bag is cost prohibitive and doesn't really do much good of getting this out of the luggage compartment. So that just means careful packing. That just means making sure everything is protected as best I can, locked up, and just hope that everything makes it intact. As far as transportation goes in Iceland, we're going to be renting 2 RVs. We've got 2 6-person RVs with 3 people in one and 4 people in another. This is going to allow us a little bit of freedom of location. We'll be able to stay nearer to photo locations, and we'll be able to make sure that we don't have to drive a lot before or after a photo shoot. Accommodation will be a little less expensive because we'll stay in campgrounds or at laybys where we can stay for free. But at campgrounds, we'll be able to have power to charge batteries and make sure everything is good to go. It also means that for nighttime photography, it gives us a warm place to retreat to while the camera is out doing long exposures or time lapses or whatever it is that we have the cameras doing. Another great thing about renting an RV is we just don't have to worry about trying to find hotels or hostels. There are lots of campgrounds, lots of places for us to stay, either cheaply or freely. Just depends on where we are in the country, but it's going to be easier with RVs for our group and the way we plan on doing things. The RV's got everything we need. It's got a small kitchen area, it's got an eating area, it's got toilets, it's got sleeping areas for all of us. The RV I'm in has got 4 people in it, but there's 3 groups. Myself, single, Carl, single, and Kevin and his partner as a pair. Most of Iceland's campsites are really well equipped. They've got power hookups for us to be able to connect to power, and most of them have hot showers. So we'll be able to take hot showers when we need to. For navigation on the ring road, cell service is pretty good, except in a couple of areas. So we can rely on GPS and our cell phones to get us where we need to go. However, we're also going to have a couple of paper offline maps so that we can find our location and get what we need, get to where we need to go expediently so that we can spend most of our time shooting photos. For health and safety on this trip, I've got a couple of different insurance policies to help me out. I've got my regular health insurance, which would help out some, but I also have travel insurance that's going to cover me for medical. It's going to cover me for disruptions to the trip, flight disruptions, RV disruptions, whatever it is. It's also going to help me with gear loss. And it's important that you make sure your policy can cover totally lost gear and damaged gear, because October in Iceland is going to be quite windy, and we're going to make sure that if gear gets damaged, that it is repaired or replaced. We'll also be carrying a couple of first aid kits with us, just in case, for bumps and bruises and scrapes and whatnot. And we'll also have a couple of PLBs, or personal locator beacons, so that we can get rescued if we need to, or if there's a medical emergency, somebody can get to a hospital quickly. Let's talk about the weather. October in Iceland means autumn, as well as the onset of winter. And as I mentioned at the beginning, there's already been some snow where we're going to be. Temperatures can range from -5 to 10 above. So somewhere around, what is that? 20 degrees Fahrenheit to 50 degrees Fahrenheit. The ever-changing weather in October means bright sun, rain, wind, and even snow. Daylight hours will be good, but due to Iceland's northern location, the angle of the sunlight morning and evening is good and lasts for a long time. So golden hour is more like golden 2 hours. High winds in October can mean a significant challenge. Can affect driving, obviously, with blowing sand, blowing snow across the roads, wind-driven rain across the roads can make visibility rather poor. But for photography, the wind can shake the tripod, vibrate the tripod, so I'll have some straps with me to tie my bag to my tripod to add weight to help stabilize it. Packing for a photography expedition is all about balance, and I want to make sure I have everything I need, but I don't want to overpack as well, because I'm limited in what I can carry. So I've made sure that I've got the basic clothing that I need for all my layering. I've made sure that I've got weatherproof gear so that wind and rain don't prevent me from being out and doing what I'm doing this trip for, which is photography. Final check. I need to make sure that I have all my clothes, all of my camera gear, and most importantly, that I have all of the right travel documents. I need my passport, I need my insurance, and I need my driver's license so that I can drive. I also need credit cards, and I need a little bit of cash. As for my drone, due to the size of the Mini 4 Pro, I don't need a license to fly it in Iceland. I've already checked that out. They do have some good flying rules in Iceland for drones these days, but the Mini 4 Pro is undersized, underweight, so I don't need a license for it. If you've got any tips for my trip, please leave a comment below and let me know if I've missed something, what I've missed, what I need. I still have a couple of days before I leave, so I might be able to squeeze something in. Thank you. In the next video, I'll be taking you through the first couple of days in Iceland, from planes to getting the RV, checking it out, and getting to our first campsite for our first overnight in Iceland. Thanks so much for watching and supporting this channel. I'm really looking forward to this, and I hope you are too. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.